What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. You know, I was really disappointed I missed out on the George Costanza bobbleheads the other night at Yankee Stadium. And then I got to thinking, why be greedy? I have the two best bobbleheads in the whole sports world right here on the podcast with me. There you go. They, of course, are Joe Day and EP Eric Bahalik. How you doing, boys?
So we played along.
Yes,
we didn't know what the intro was. And
Right.
Mike said, if you play along, it'll be really funny. And there we go. We got it. I need one of those bobbleheads, man. You know me, I'm a big George guy. Some people might compare me to him from time to time.
I've never heard that.
It's just because of my EP, you're the one with the thick wallet. Aren't you?
Oh, not anymore. No, not anymore. But
oh, thank God. It was throwing off your back.
Yep.
But one of my favorite scenes of George in that thick wallet was he took some Sweet Low packets and jammed it on the other side of his ass to level out.
Love it.
Oh yeah.
Summer of George, and then also the golf balls and the whale are two of the most iconic moments in all of Seinfeld, in my opinion. So yeah, I love when I heard about that bobblehead. So,
I don't even want to look to see what they're selling for
ridiculous.
right now, but if you wait a little while, I'm sure they'll get a little
sure.
better. But I'll forget about them. But I would love to have one. They'd be great somewhere.
I have
over here.
I have a
right
Funko
there.
Pop. I have a Funko Pop down in my den of George from my favorite episode of George, where he took the holistic medicine to fix it. It was like from the first 2 seasons, I think, and he turned purple. And it's a Funko of him purple with the triangle over him that the herbalist was using to try and fix it. It's a fantastic. Shout out to our friend Mike Baylor, who told me about those, and I went and bought 2. One for my office, one for my den. Yeah, the God.
Can't tell me about it. Tell you about it, EP?
No.
When
So
I
he's
take
not
videos,
our friend, he's Joe's friend.
well, that episode, for some reason, he and I just back and forth lines. Like, I'm off hot water. Like, just randomly, we'll just say lines. We'll text each other. If I'm drinking milk or pouring cereal, you're eating too much dairy. Like, and we'll text each other. It's just one of those dumb things. But yeah, George Costanza, one of the top 10 greatest comedic characters of all time.
Oh yeah.
So how's it going, boys? Anything new and exciting going on in your world?
I'll tell you what, one of the greatest videos that we've ever had on the channel dropped this week. Top 10 Star Trek card sales. It's my favorite video we've ever had on the channel.
Here it comes.
Yeah. C-Town, you asked for it, you got it. I'm so excited. This video is going to get like 50 views. I don't care. I mean, Mike had to do all the work anyway, so I don't care. I just sat there and with this pretty face and didn't have to do anything beyond that. But I loved going through those cards, and just Star Trek cards have value, people. I was shocked. As someone who buys autographs of Patrick Stewart, I shouldn't have been, but I was shocked at some of the cards. Go check out. It dropped yesterday, Sunday. So go check out that video. For me, even if you don't like Star Trek, please, just for me, please.
I had to watch the whole thing while I was editing. Some of the editing's easy. That wasn't, and I had to watch the whole thing. Although I as well was very surprised at the prices of the cards are worth.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I should buy some.
Spoiler alert, Patrick Stewart did not make the top 10. That's how crazy some of those cards were. So yes, very, very fun video. I haven't actually watched it, but it took me like 12 takes to record it. So I feel like I know it in my head pretty well. But yeah, I'll have to give that a watch and a like, if you will, please.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I look forward to watching it. There's a certain amount of joy that you can definitely hear in Joe's voice and in his face when he starts talking about Star Trek. So I'm definitely looking forward to watching that.
What's new and exciting with you, EP?
Well, we recorded last week. We did a live stream, and during that live stream, we were asked what cards which cards are no longer on our possession that we'd like to have back. And the 96 Ultra Kobe Bryant rookie card came up, and I talked about how that one is the one that I think about. And I think Joe was the one who asked, would you trade the Brent Heinzelman gift card, the PSA 8 that he gave to me, for would you trade that back to Mike Jones, like one for one? I said at the time, I said, yeah, but I'm thinking about that, and I don't think I would do that now. I thought that card it represents what we're doing right now, the three of us here, this new chapter in our collecting, and Brent's gift to me. There's no way that I would trade that now. Like it's a very, very special thing on top of the fact of being a gift. Like there's no way to trade. As much as I wouldn't mind having that one back that I pulled. Like this is that's from then. I still have pack pulled Kobe's of my own, but this card is the now, and so yeah, definitely not gonna get rid of that. So just.
You're allowing your collection to evolve. It's getting
yes.
better over time.
Yes.
Creating new stories. That's what we're here for, to help you write your own story. I don't know how to get out of this.
Yeah, I'll get you out of that.
Please.
Please. So joking aside, and we're going to talk a little bit about it later, Fleer Ultra Wolverine. I've been putting stuff on eBay. Okay. I have an ethical question for you guys as an eBay seller that I'd love to hear some comments down below if you sell on eBay, or maybe if you're on the other end of this and you might have been a buyer and this happened to you. So I had posted a card. I'm just, for simple math, I don't want to sound like, oh, look at him with all these expensive cards. I'm just going to say it was $100 card. It was a little bit more, but I don't want to be, ridiculous. So I posted this card for $100. And someone reached out and said, or someone had sent me an offer for $50. And they messaged me and said, I'm not really sure. It's a new product. I'm not really sure what it's worth. And I said, yeah, I just posted it. It's getting a lot of views. I want to hold off before I accept any offers. I said, to sell it now, I'd take 75 though. And the guy goes, deal, sounds great. I said, okay, I'll counter your 50 with 75. Nothing. Okay. Now it was late, to be fair. It was like, at this point, it was like probably 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. For our time. I think he's out west, but it was a little bit later. Didn't hear anything. Okay. No big deal. Whatever. I went to bed expecting that he would accept and pay the next morning. Still nothing. I'm getting other offers on this card. Now, not up to what we agreed on, but I'm getting other offers on this card. So I messaged him. I said, hey, just want to give you a heads up. I'm getting other offers on this card. If you want it, I really need you to accept that offer. So the guy does not respond to me. And then someone comes in and offers me $90.
Sold.
Yeah, take it. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. Yep.
I
did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I hit accept, and the guy paid right away. And I messaged him, and I always ask, was there anything else you were interested in? Save people on shipping and things like that, especially with a new product like this. And the guy goes, oh, no, this is great. I'm opening up a couple of cases myself. I'm like, Jesus. And he goes, well, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't get this card. And I said, oh, and it's kind of lucky you got this card. And I kind of told him the story. He goes, oh yeah, it sucks for them, basically. The guy messaged me and apologized. The original person who tried to buy. So he wasn't upset by it. He was camping and he lost reception. So first rule, never go camping. That's number one. There's no reason for you to
Why
go
do people camp?
I don't know. They're inside with air conditioning unless you're EP. But so I was just curious. Like, it was not a deal. He did not accept. It was kind of like a handshake kind of thing. Nothing wrong. No ethical gray area there at all.
100% no.
Completely black and white. Okay. All right. I feel good about that then.
Because we know a high percentage of the time when you're in that situation, that person's never going to accept the offer. They found it for cheaper, or they're thinking they're going to get it cheaper, or they have second thought. Yeah. It was a heat of the moment thing for them. And
Yep. Yeah. And you don't want to hold the bag on something, especially a new product. You know how it is. As soon as, 3 months from now, with new product, the price of that $100 card could be $50. And I just got screwed over because I was trying to be a good guy, and I'm like, so yeah. All right. I feel better about it.
If you would accept like a $50 offer from somebody else, that then maybe, or even it's like 75 would have been questionable. Like if you already have a deal at 75 and somebody and you've said here you go, they had in theory they had every opportunity to click the button and say yes, I'll accept the 75.
And I sent it
So,
like right away. So I'm like,
Right,
did they get
right.
eaten by a mountain lion while they were out there?
That could have
Which,
happened
again,
too.
Possible. Don't
Yeah.
camp. You could get eaten by mountain lions. So
Yeah, they
All
have
right, that was
buildings
my-
you can stay in.
right,
All the
exactly.
hotels, great places. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
comment below if you disagree with that. I'm more curious if you disagree with this take, because I figured you guys would be on the same page. But I'm curious if anyone, or if you were a buyer and something like that happened and it really pissed you off that the seller accepted someone else's offer. Just kind of curious about some stories.
It's your own fault. You should have accepted the offer.
Yeah.
Tell you that
Run over with your phone like this. Where the hell can I get a bar somewhere? Yeah.
Just go stand in that spot you were in when you mentioned the
Right.
first time.
Yeah.
When we were
Just go back to
messaging
that
back
spot.
and forth, just go back to that spot. You'd be fine. That's where the
Wow.
mountain lion was, EP.
Yeah, it was pretty late at night, so it could have been the mountain lion. All right, well, let's get into it this week. So, Walmart apparently is going to have a sports card marketplace. There aren't a whole lot of details that I was able to find about this, but apparently for right now, you must have a business license, a tax ID number to be able to sell on there, but they're going to allow seller of sports cards to be on their marketplace and sell right next to the products that they sell. So somebody goes on to walmart.com and they're looking for something, they might be able to buy your card that you're trying to sell to the guy for $75, Joe. And they're not going to be charging any fees through September for the people that are selling on there. And it's, I guess, their marketplace is being headed up by, or this part of it was because of a guy named Bob Means, who was the director of trading cards at eBay. So clearly they're trying to throw their hat in the ring with the card selling, and I'm guessing to compete with eBay. I guess the real question is, we know it's Walmart. We know Walmart's huge, but is this really going to be a thing that people are going to use? Would you sell on Walmart? Would you buy cards on Walmart? What do you guys think?
I forget what show it was, but we were talking about, will there ever be competition for eBay? And I said, the only person I could see, the only company I could see doing it is Amazon, because they've kind of, they just gobble up things and make them their own,
Mm-hmm.
And I could see Bezos if he was like, no, you know what? We want a card marketplace specifically. Let's do this. I mean, Walmart's not Amazon, but it's not nothing. I mean, that's a lot of money if they're hiring it sounds like they're hiring the right people to try and create this thing. And I think people in our bubble tend to forget that eBay is not just cards. So if this was like their card guy, it may not be the president of eBay or whatever their titles are, but it's one of the most important people there because of how much eBay does in card sales. So yeah, I mean, maybe Walmart's looking at eBay saying, you're selling a lot of stuff we're selling. Maybe we want to try and get some of that, a piece of something that you're selling that we generally don't, other than, blasters and stuff like that. They have their foot in the card door because they do sell retail products a lot. So, I mean, if someone's going to throw money at it, I thought it would be Bezos, but the Walton family, they're known to throw some money at some things. So, I wouldn't be surprised. And then Sam's Club gets into it and it's just pallets of junk wax that EP just dives right into at some point, right?
Definitely, I'd be there 100%.
Me too.
No, I mean, I feel like, they got a tough road ahead of them if they really want to if this is like something they really want to do to compete with eBay. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Like, it would be really tough. I think Target already does this, right? Like, if you search for like cards on Target, like there are some sellers that are on there that aren't Target exactly, but I think it's but again, it's these are like going to be like people with retail stores, that sort of stuff. And also, I feel like there's no auction feature, I don't think, on Walmart.com. So I feel like that's an important part of the hobby. Even though I sell almost all my stuff through Buy It Nows, and most of the stuff I buy is Buy It Nows. But I mean, like, I feel like you need to have. I feel like anybody who gets into the card market space, they're going to want to have the option for auction and buy it now. I feel like that's an ingrained part of our hobby marketplace, and I think if they don't have that, it's going to be tough for them to really make a dent into it. Like I don't know what their end goal is with it, but I feel like in order to make a dent, you're going to have both an auction and a buy it now a feature, I believe.
There's a lot of stuff though on eBay like that isn't auction in cards. You search anything and you click on auction. There's way less of them on auction than buy it now.
People are finally taking our advice.
Yeah, well, smart.
So buy it now.
So I mean, my question is like, how committed are they to it? Like, is this just another thing? Oh, we'll let people do this, or is this something where they want to go out and get people to use it? That'll be because they do let other people sell in other segments, but is it really just to have more available to their customer base, or is it really, oh, we want to compete with eBay? I'm not really sure that they do. Although if they hired eBay's director of trading cards, maybe they do, or maybe they make enough money on this stuff that they can pay him more than eBay did, and it's not really that they want to be the new marketplace in the sports card world. Really, like, we don't know enough about what their plans are. I would love to find that out. Yeah. So if it's half-assed, like, it'll be a thing that's out there for some people, but like it'll be crazy to type in Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie card on Walmart.
Not the one show without talking about Ken Griffey Jr. For God's sake.
No, I don't think we can.
When you first told us about the story, Mike, I thought, wait a minute, is this 2021? What is happening right now? Like, this feels like a very like 2020, 2021 like money grab kind of vibe to it, doesn't it? A little bit like 2024. I'm not saying the cards are crashing, just everyone calm down. I'm not saying the hobby's dead, no, but the hobby is not what it was 4 years ago, right? Like, prices on cards are not what they were 4 years ago. Agreed. So this feels like something that maybe Walmart had in the works for a few years, thinking, oh, this bubble will never end and we'll get into it a couple years later and we'll work the kinks out and all these things. And then 4 years later, they're like kind of committed to it at this point, or 2 or 3 years later, and they're just going forward with it. But yeah, I mean, to hire the people, we talked about the woman, or was it a woman that Michael Rubin hired for the Fanatics event. She was an event planner. I think it was a woman. Was it a woman?
No,
it was a man. The man that Michael Rubin hired is the events planner, like going for something very specific, right? Like, we need someone to do event planning for Fanatics, for this Fanatics Fest. Walmart kind of doing the same thing here and saying, we want someone very specific with this set of skills, Liam Neeson style, right, to go out and make this a big deal. I don't think they hire this person if they're not going to give it a real go.
I disagree. First off, I want to say, everybody, please clip Joe saying the hobby is dead, and just clip that.
I said the hobby. I'm not saying the hobby is dead. That's going to be some
the hobby is
Mike
dead.
level editing, Mike level miracle editing, right there.
I can edit it to make him say whatever we want him to say.
The thing, you could argue, though, as much as that is his skill set, you could argue also that, like, eBay cards on eBay, like, that is their main seller. Like, if you're going to hire somebody, if you want somebody to with that kind of mindset, if you have something in mind that you want to grow, you can use the same ideas and those same things and bring that in to, obviously, with them using the cards, it seems like that's the case, but also his skills are going to be, I would think that those skills would play well in the retail space and other ways too. Like, the way he was able to grow eBay's and all the stuff they've implemented, as far as, like, the eBay, the standard envelope, all that sort of stuff, that sort of stuff, I think would benefit, thinking in broad terms, that would benefit a lot of retail spaces, I think, a lot of businesses.
The fact that they're limiting it to just businesses right now, and you have to have a tax ID number, is really going to limit the scope of this. I don't know if that'll change or if this is just their doing, but yeah, I mean, I would go on Walmart to look for cards if they became more
Especially
like
when it
eBay
first
if I could find
starts.
stuff. Yeah. I would sell on I have a tax ID number. Maybe I should start selling some of the stuff I have around here on Walmart. You never know. But I think it's interesting. We have been talking for a long time that there needs to be another marketplace out there. If there's a huge one there, then maybe the fees that are charged on eBay will come down, because I say it all the time, like with guitars and stuff like that, musical instruments, there's another huge marketplace, and eBay gives people like a 4 or 5% like discount on the stuff they sell on eBay in those areas. So if Walmart were able to step up and not just like mimic eBay's fees and go, oh, look how much money we can make from people, make the same as them. If they could cut the fees, have a little competition there, that would be good, regardless of whether you're using eBay or Walmart. Don't know if it will be, but we'll definitely come back to this as we find more out, because I am fascinated by it. Like, why would Walmart want to get into this is something that's going through my head. Like, I don't really know. There must be a big enough market out there that it would make Walmart's a huge company, just like Amazon. You have to wonder how much of an impact is it going to make on their bottom line that they want to do this, and other questions too, like authenticity. Like, are people going to be using this to sell trim cards, fake cards? How are they going to combat that? There's so many questions about this that we don't know yet, but like, I am intrigued by the fact that Walmart wants to do this.
Yeah, and hiring the guy from eBay, that might be something right out of the gate they come out with, some sort of authenticity program or whatever. Having just business people or people with business IDs. I mean, I think maybe they're hoping that some of that stuff could be curbed because of that. I could see someone like Burbank selling on Walmart, like as
Really
much as they post like $2, $3 cards on eBay. I wouldn't be surprised if they move inventory to that Walmart platform as well. And you know, to your point about competition, 13% on a card sale is crazy. But we've said this how many times, the eyeballs that you get for that 13% are so huge. If Walmart comes in and can draw even half the eyeballs that eBay has, even a quarter of the eyeballs that eBay has, and the fees are a third, I think that math works out for me to try it if they would open it up. Maybe eBay will lower their fees and then retroactively like give everyone some of the money back.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they'll do that. Yeah,
I'd gotten before. Yeah, that might work
definitely.
out.
Why wouldn't they? Yeah.
So I mean, this is also they're going to make a little bit extra. They're going to make money off of every blaster they sell. But then when people try to resell those blasters on the marketplace, they're going to make a little bit more money off of it, right?
Shit.
There you go.
Yep. That's some
You're
good
the smart one
right there.
They're double dipping on
that's
that.
a really good point.
So I mean, there's still a lot of people buy blasters and then they sell them, on eBay. So there you go.
And the same thing happens on eBay too. People buy stuff on eBay and resell it on eBay. I say all the time, they get you coming and going. I mean, they really do. So that's really, and at what point can you just hold something on the Walmart platform as a seller, as a buyer and seller, and then just resell it from there and not even have to worry about the shipping? I mean, there's some
Walmart vault.
Yep,
they're going to start their own vault. You heard it here first. Joe Day. All right. Well, speaking of eBay, they released their top 25 worldwide sellers, and there were 5 sports card sellers out of the top 25 in the world.
There he is.
No. You know how I like to make you guys guess? Can you guess what the 5 were?
Burbank one.
Burbank is definitely on there.
ComC.
PWO, but they got kicked off,
DC
right?
Sports.
They got kicked off. Yeah. Yes, DC Sports 84.
Oh, 3 out of 5. Propstein.
There's 4. One more. I don't know if you'll get this one or not.
Matt MC something.
GM Greg Morris cards.
Greg Morris.
Yeah. I'll give you credit for that. I knew you knew what it was, but
initials were involved. Yeah.
Oh, but wow, all 5 of them are within their top 25 sellers worldwide. Like, just shows, again, we talk about why I just said, why would Walmart want to do this? This gonna add enough to their bottom line? I think the answer is clearly yes, if you do it right and do it big enough. So maybe going back to the original segment there, maybe they will do it big because they know there's a lot of money to be made in it.
And I think the point I made when I suggested that Amazon do it was Bezos is the type of guy who will take a loss for 5-10 years to then get that huge win, right? So I could see Walmart saying, we're in this for the long game, man. Look at these numbers. I mean, we can take a loss. We don't have to be profitable. We don't have to be Cards HQ here and just make a profit every month. We can take a loss year after year until we start chipping away, and then eventually, like Walmart did when Walmart started, when they started buying up these little stores and kind of taking over that retail spot. I mean, I could easily see them looking long term and saying, we're fine. We're a long term company. We've been around forever. We'll take a loss a little bit on this portion of it, and we can cover it up with, we'll charge $1 extra on something else to make up for it. But we can, with this, we can take that loss for the long term gain potentially.
We talk a lot about the global reach of eBay, and that's what you pay for with those fees or whatever. But you think about, Amazon is a good choice, but also Walmart is a good choice as far as like customer base. When you think about the number of people that are on eBay, when you think about the number of people that like shop at a Walmart or shop on Walmart.com, that number is probably it might be more in the US, might be more than eBay, right? Like, that's a huge number. Like, it's probably
possible, yeah. And
so, I mean, if some part of that segment starts using that as their card space, they could really, I mean, that's really makes a lot of sense now. Yeah.
So you're telling me I should apply to see if I can sell. Okay. There you go.
And you can be our group seller. Fantastic. Excellent. Fantastic turn of events.
Career change at this point in my life. All right. Well, I don't know if anybody's noticed on the channel, but we've had quite a bit of content from the 2024 Fleer Ultra Wolverine product that just came out. First of all, thank you to everybody who's been watching the content. Joe did a fantastic job, even though I like to prod him and poke him and get him mad at me all the time. But I have to give him his flowers all the time. It's so much fun because it's so easy. But yeah, he did a fantastic job. The live stream, we had a lot of people watching that, which surprised me.
Spur of the moment live stream.
Way more videos than a channel that's way bigger than us has gotten on their Wolverine box opening. So, first of all, thank you to all the viewers and people that have been watching this content and really, really positively accepting the content that we're putting out there. But Joe, I want to talk to you a little bit about this. Like, what a project you had there. Case of cards that wasn't cheap and made a lot of content on it. I know you're selling a lot of stuff on eBay. First, I guess I'll start with, how's it going?
Going pretty good. Well, first off, for those of you who just subscribed to the channel because of this, stick around. We're very entertaining. So we have a lot of fun content. You might have heard me mention Star Trek at the top. I mean, clearly there's some overlap. But anyway, and before Mike poked and prodded this morning, I was going to give him most of the credit for, getting this stuff set up, editing it, the thumbnail. I mean, it drew everyone in. So
much better than our competition's thumbnail, I think.
It wasn't even competition at this point, baby.
Not even.
I'll tell you what, though, our buddy Spidey Hits, his first look video had like 15,000 views.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's way ahead. We're not counting that.
Yeah. No. He's definitely on another stratosphere. It's going good. I got everything sorted the night of the live stream. I was up until 2 a.m. Sorting everything, because you know me, I can't just like let it, like, I'm not EP. I can't just
have piles everywhere.
Piles everywhere. So I sorted everything out that night, and then I started pulling cards out that I was thinking about selling. And then the next couple of days, it was just listing. That I did feel like EP listing cards. And it was getting to the point where as I was listing, I was getting an email that you had just listed this card. And then 5 minutes later, I'd have a sale. And I'm like, and when you're first out of the gate, you get really nervous. You get nervous. Either you're selling something way too high and no one's going to buy it, or you're selling it way too low and someone's going to come in and scarf it up. So it's been going well, but there's still a lot I need to sell. And I'm not sure what I'm not sure what the end price is going to be of some of I've sold a couple of the bigger cards, but there are some bigger cards out there that I'm still, not sure about.
I watched the live stream after the fact. Like you said, the live stream came up at the last moment, and I was at work, and you were texting that want to go on a live stream. I was like, well, I can't, but I've definitely watched it. I enjoyed that. The product is amazing. I will say that when there were a couple times where you were like reconfiguring your piles here, and you're like making sure things are on the right piles. I'm like, just throw it all in the same pile. Don't worry. What are you doing, Joe? Just throw it on so you can figure it out later.
Because I would have been up till 4 a.m. sorting things had I not done it that way. But the live stream, though, going back to that real quick, that was a lot of fun. I think it was you, Mike. You're like, do you want us to go live tonight? I'm like, shit, yeah. I mean, I guess. Do you think anyone will even watch? And so we had to push back the start time. Bailey, my dog, has been sick the last few days, so I had to take her out a couple of times. She's better. She's on the mend, but I had to deal with that. So we kept pushing it back, and then finally, I think we started at 9:30, and there were like 15 people, almost 20 at the high mark watching the rip. It was, and again, awesome. We're not a huge channel, and we're not a huge Marvel specifically channel, but a lot of people just came on just to watch I think you called it, Mike, ASMR, as people are sitting there watching back and hearing the thud of the thick cards going through the piles. It was very soothing.
Yeah, I was surprised how many people like showed up to watch it. We even talked about it. Like, I think we discussed, this is kind of spur of the moment. It doesn't really matter. Maybe people will watch it after the fact. We're really making it for that purpose. So, just so we could document that last half of the case being ripped. But the number of people that showed up just blew my mind. We didn't let anybody know. We just did it, and people showed up. So thank you to anybody who might be watching this that watched that. But yeah, that was a good time. Some crazy stuff in there, Joe. You have those pulls that you had. It wasn't set up on the live stream either. The last pack magic was like,
oh man,
you couldn't have written the script any better.
You couldn't have. And so we were talking before the pod. Our buddy Mike the Cleaner and I were talking last night about, he thinks that this set will have some long-term value, even sealed stuff. I don't know if I agree with that, but I will say it would be tough for me to leave anything sealed. But imagine if I was like, I'm going to leave one of these boxes sealed, and it was that last box. Could you imagine that last box is sitting there with that Wolverine sketch? Spoiler alert, I guess, if you didn't watch the live stream, go back and watch it. It's or the short that Mike put up.
Short, yeah.
That was another thing that I think really helped gain traction for the video, because we were kind of joking around about a bigger channel. We were kind of neck and neck for a little bit in views. And yes, I'm petty enough to look at that. I'm absolutely petty enough to look at that. We were neck and neck a little bit in views. And then all of a sudden it was like, bam, we like jumped up really quick. And I think it was the short and people then going into the channel and watching more of the content. But to pull that Wolverine sketch, which I'm sorry, that's one of the coolest sketches. That sucker's not leaving the PC.
So cool.
And, like, first appearance, Hulk 181 style Wolverine with the face mask and everything. It's just a really, really cool card. But to pull that in the literally pack 144.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it weighed more or less. So I wasn't weighing packs. I wasn't weighing boxes or anything like that. It just happened. And I'm sitting there going, man, this last box has been pretty weak. I legitimately was like, oh man, there better be something good. Cause I knew I had one hit, like one bigger hit in that box. Could have been a jambalaya, could have been that, could have been another medallion. But yeah, to pull that, pretty cool.
Have any of those surfaced yet? That's a 101, isn't it?
So sketches are interesting because they're all 101s, right? So I haven't seen any sketches come up yet, but I haven't been looking for it because I'm not selling mine, so I haven't been looking at
Right.
Terapeak
Right.
for a sketch. So I'm sure others have, but I watch a couple of cases of other people. In some cases, get a sketch, some cases don't. So it's hit or miss. But like for me, I'd rather have that sketch than like a jambalaya personally. I mean, jambalayas, I know they're big in the hobby. The cool thing about Fleer Ultra, and to tie it back into like sports cards, a lot of the stuff they put in that set are tiebacks to sports card sets, right? Mike, your favorite was the EX Century.
Yeah,
Like that's a really, they have the essential credentials now and the essential credentials future and the base. So you get one EX Century card per pack. It's a full 100 card set. So you would have to open up 100 boxes and get perfect correlation to get a set. But that's a really cool set. They have the jambalayas, like I mentioned before. They have the medallions, the gold medallions, the base silver, and all the way to black opal 101. So like they use a lot of their IP, and we've talked about this before. Upper Deck uses it really, really smart.
Yeah, I love the EX. I'd love to have a set of that. Like that, not outside of the realm of possibility that maybe a couple months down the road I might go, what?
If someone's selling a lot of them and start that way,
if I could get like 20 of those in a lot and then I could piece them together from there, that'd be a lot of fun. So I really did enjoy those. They're great looking cards though, and they do use the IP incredibly. That I told you I was going to set the live stream up and then I was going to come back. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah,
because it was just so much fun. Shoot,
I feel like, I mean, I thought the designs were all cool. I like the parallels. I liked everything about the whole set. I really think, I almost feel like this is like a kind of like a hidden gem, like going to be, a lot of people are going to be like, this was the product of the year kind of thing. Like, because I feel like I didn't realize the checklist was going to be as expansive as it was, and they didn't have would have the inserts they did as well. I really like the product. I thought it was really, really cool looking, Joe. And good on you to decide to get it, and it was fun to watch.
And I mentioned at the beginning, I think I mentioned it on 2 of the videos because I accidentally recorded the first box and then for some reason it wouldn't upload. That first box just wouldn't upload. And I tried like 3 times. So I had to pretend I was opening up the first box for another one behind the curtain type of things. But I said during those videos, oh yeah, I paid for this in April. This is like 3 months ago at this point. So to me, this is like, it's free. And I said, I doubt Rob feels that way about it.
Yeah, not free.
Yeah, it's all free money. I agree with like I watched Flare, Marvel Flare get opened up. I watched a bunch of boxes of that. I watched a bunch of boxes of Midnight Suns, which I think might have been late last year or early this year, which was a Fleer Ultra product too. And I opened up a bunch of Avengers, which were decent, for the channel. They were decent views. This was way better. Maybe I'm too close to it, it just happened, but this just felt like a better product. Like the character, it was a tighter group of characters. I guess it helps when you have like 5 Wolverines in the base set, and you have a couple of Sabretooths and you have a couple of Deadpools, like those main X-Men characters. That's who I read when I read Marvel, was X-Men. I wasn't a Marvel guy, but when I read Marvel, it was X-Men. So to have those main characters and then sprinkle in some of the Avengers like Captain America and Spidey and guys like that. I do want to point out my favorite set that I think I might actually put together since we're talking about favorite sets. These pop culture art cards are awesome. This is new to the set. These are new to the set. There's different levels of them. And I think they're 1 per 18 packs for the base ones. And then there's the short prints and then the super short prints, which are like, I think you get 1 per, I don't think it's a case hit, but like the odds are you'll probably only get 1 per case. I sold most of them. I think I'm going to do the Thanos because it's done like Andy Warhol style. This one is. And if you look at the back, it shows the 6 different colors you can get it in. So how cool would this be? Like the Andy Warhol painting, having all 6 in a holder, right? And have that as a display. I kept the Thanos because it's a cool card, but it's also got a chip you can see at the top. So I didn't want to sell it and have to explain to someone there's a chip in this. So I'm like, maybe I'll do the Thanos one. But this is new to the set, and I hope they bring it back for future sets, have a different artist do it next time than this time. But this is probably my favorite new thing that they put in there. It just felt like a premium set, you know.
Oh yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
Sounded like one too when you were piling all the cards up there.
Hey, exactly.
But what I want to talk about is
okay.
your setup. You looked like you were a breaker.
I know.
Isn't that like, and I thought you did a really good job. You were like engaging and entertaining. I feel like you could have a future in breaking.
Maybe. So in all seriousness, I said I think were we texting on the side mic, or maybe we were waiting for EP to come on. What, I forget when it was. It was last week at some point. And we were talking about it. And I said, would it be fun to break Star Trek cards? You know, there's not a huge market for that, and obviously, but like there are enough people out there and there's no content. I'm like, I would love to break like a case of something and do basically personal boxes and stuff like that. And then we did this setup for the Fleer Ultra Wolverine stuff. And you're right, Mike. I mean, I really was having a blast. You know,
Yeah.
I can understand the appeal of being a breaker, opening up really, really cool stuff, and then not having to worry about having to make any money off of it. Just being able to like have these cool cards. Yeah. The setup worked out really, really well with like 5 minutes of prep time, Mike. we were like, oh shit, we got to start this thing up. It was pretty rough, but yeah,
for us.
maybe it's a special occasion type of thing.
Yeah.
Where every so often we see about break spots. I don't know. Comment below.
Would you guys hate us if we did that?
Hate us? Would you be entertained by it? You know, like I don't know.
We're not going to become full-time breakers or breaking new product and stuff, but like doing some things like Star Trek stuff, or different non-sports, or doing some retro stuff, like might be fun. So
yeah.
But if people would absolutely hate us, let us know, because
right. Like, oh God, now your backyard breaks. But yeah, and that would be the thing. Like, it would be something that I think would be stuff that we know our folks would enjoy. You know, like not, oh yeah, let's open up a case of Flawless Football. No, not like that. I think that would be ridiculous. But like, the example I used was, actually, Cheers comes out. There's a Cheers set coming out from Rittenhouse. How fun would it be to, if we got it at a good price and we could sell it at a good price, personal box breaks of Cheers? How much fun would that be for retro people to get in on? I don't know. Like, stuff like that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
EP breaking 1990 Topps baseball.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I would have to give those away though.
I wouldn't give them away. You'd be like, wait, no.
Yeah, I think Backyard got in trouble for that, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Just the one card though, right? Just just that one small card. Yeah.
So Joe, I did want to bring up something though. The first RIP video, the one that has almost 4,000 views, it has a certain number of likes to it, doesn't it?
It does. So, EP, did you watch till the very end of that video?
Yes.
Okay. Did you catch the code?
I don't think I did. I don't remember it. I don't remember.
I said you might not have heard it, but there was like a Masons type, Freemasons type code that I had in there. You heard it, Mike. Yeah. I said, if this video gets to 100 likes, EP will shave his head.
Oh, I did hear that part. Yeah.
How many likes does it have, Mike?
I think I even said. I think
it has over 100.
Hey,
what do you think, buddy?
I think I even said out loud as I was
money.
That's not gonna happen.
You ready? Come on.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Mike's close to Danville.
Listen,
he could just come on over right now.
It'd be hilarious if there was a
knock on your door.
All I'm saying is, get in the fireball at the national. We'll talk.
Oh,
no, shit. Definitely not.
I'm bringing the shaver.
No way. You baited the hook. By the way, I'm glad you let everyone know that was a shaver mic, because the audio people are like,
yeah,
what the hell
this is a shaver for the audio people. This is my beard trimmer. So if you hear that,
do you think that
nothing wrong with your device.
Do you think that can get through my hair? Do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Oh, we'll get it there.
I can set
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Look at that too. I can set how high or low it goes. See, look at that.
Get enough.
Amazing.
Send me the link to that, by the way, Mike. I need a new one. Get enough fireball in you, you'll agree to it. Get enough fireball in us, we'll make it work.
It's a match made in heaven right there.
Right. Before we move on from this, Mike, I do want to give a shout out to Helmets and Hash Marks, who I always want to call helmets and hashtags for some reason. I apologize. Super Chat gave us a tip for the live streams. That was very unnecessary, but very appreciative. And I will say he did mention on the live stream that he bought his first Star Trek card for his fiance, and the Nichelle Nichols autograph card, which almost made the cut. So I hope, Helmets, I hope if you're watching this, go back and watch that Star Trek video that dropped yesterday, Sunday. And yeah, maybe you'll buy some more cool Star Trek cards for your fiance.
And it's Helmets and hash.
Hash N.
Marks, not hashtags, hash marks. Helmets and hash marks.
Yes.
And go subscribe to his YouTube channel. He
rips
a lot of cool stuff, and he's almost to 1,000. So
yes, get him over 1,000.
Yeah, go over 1,000. Let the guy make a little bit of money. All right. Well, speaking of making money, we talked about the PSA vending machine last week, and we had a lot of questions about it. So I am going to read PSA's tweet about it. They tweeted on July 3rd. I will read this verbatim. Update regarding the PSA branded vending machine currently live in Las Vegas. These vending machines are owned and operated by an external company who is a PSA dealer, submitting raw cards to PSA for authentication and grading, which are then being used for their repack business. This machine, however, is not owned, operated, or controlled by PSA in any capacity. Despite this third party's test run of their machine has unfortunately created some confusion as to PSA's involvement.
Maybe splashing PSA all across the goddamn machine.
Of the century right there, yes. We are working with the vendor in real time to adapt the look and feel of these machines to feature less prominent PSA branding and or make it clearer that they own and operate these machines, not PSA. You'll notice in there, like, obviously they must have a licensing deal with this company. We've talked about, we didn't know if they owned it, or we assumed it was probably licensed, but they did. But you know, if you're allowing somebody to do this and splash your label all over it, and by the way, have the picture of a Charizard on it that has had its cert number decertified because it's fake, I don't know. This seems really out of the ordinary for PSA. They seem to be a little more calculated and careful with the things they do. And now they're letting another company use their, even if they're paying for it, you're using their logo. They have this machine. Many people have pointed out there's no checklist. You have no idea what you can get out of it. They make implications by having pictures of things there that you know aren't in there. Seems like a really dumb move for PSA to put their IP in the hands of other people who can do nefarious things with it. Or am I reading too much into it?
Joe, you want me to go ahead before you go with your crazy?
Yeah,
I'm offended that you're calling it creepy, sir. But yes, you go first.
All right. Well, I just this thing, like this would sound to me, if I was PSA and somebody came to me about this, I'd be like, "That's an interesting idea, but you know what? I need to see it. Like when you're done with it, I want to see what it is. I want to know what it is. Like that would be something I would definitely do. And I mean, the vendor knew what they were doing, like just putting giant PSA all over the place and doing it that way. I mean, they knew exactly what they were doing. Like it was worked out perfect. I'm guessing they made a crap ton of money off that thing. So that's all I wanted to say was just that I feel if I was at PSA and I was licensing this thing, this is cool. This is new. Let's see it before you go putting it in the casino. Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Before I even put my tinfoil helmet on, okay. This type of thing, when you're talking about not even releasing a checklist, as much as we kind of joke around with Ziggy and how over the top he is about repacks, this is it. This is the scenario that he's over the top about. No checklist. The big hit is a card that's not even a card, right? Like it's a decertified label on a fake card is the thing you're promoting this with. This is the apocalyptic future of the hobby that Ziggy talks about when he's saying repacks. Okay. Yeah. So I think at some point Ziggy was like, I need one of these things to happen to really get my agenda of anti-repacks across the goal line, because this is it. This is worst case scenario. Now, let me put the helmet on. What company did you say is doing this, Mike? Did you say there was the name of the company that created the machines?
No, I don't know who that is.
So I bet you the name of the company.
But I think it is somebody who has ties to those old Heroes of Sport repack.
Okay.
They used to put all kinds of fake cards, everything in. Yes.
So let's just say a company ABC, right? That's what their company name is. Would it surprise you if after you go through the shell corporations, CGC owns this company, and what they did was they splashed a fake PSA card, a decertified PSA card on these machines to make PSA look bad to gain market share. Bam. That's what's going on here. Why else would they do something so blatantly stupid as put a card that you can prove is definitely not in this product and one of PSA's most notorious fuck-ups? Why else would this company do that unless they were trying to ruin PSA? Is it crazy? I don't think so.
Are you okay?
You decide. You decide if it's crazy.
In this hobby, there's a non-zero chance.
Right.
Yeah. So
right.
But
the end of the day, how did they let this card? How did PSA not look at a mock-up and say, why don't you just, if you're going to lie about
they didn't see a
mock-up, lie about a good card or a real card?
I feel like they should have seen it though.
Right.
They should know what you're licensing your name to. And I'm surprised that they're doing it with cards. Like somebody wanted to make a t-shirt or something maybe, but I don't know. The whole card vending machine thing, your PSA, you're supposed to be the company who is certifying whether something real or not, or what the grade, what condition something's in. I don't think you need to be involved with something like this. That's just me personally. Mm-hmm. Maybe if we ever have Nat on, we'll give him that advice. But yeah. But I don't know. But speaking of PSA, GemRate put out their half-year grading statistics, which were pretty interesting. For the first 6 months of the year, PSA graded 7.54 million cards, which was up 16% over last year. CGC was at 1.07 million, which was up 66%. SGC was at 936,000, which was up 64%. And then you had Beckett at 361,000, was down 9%. So when everybody else is up huge over the year before, BGS is down. But the amount of cards we're grading, it's not changing. Like it's just growing and growing. I really thought we would get up to a point in the hobby where it would level off, but I totally am wrong about that. We're clearly never going to get to that point, are we?
You know, I think we were talking about, PSA, this was a while ago, PSA trying to get down to a certain price. And I said, if they get down to that price, they're going to be grading base cards again. And I got some pushback. I'm pretty sure they're probably this many cards. They're grading base cards again. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Alico 3 has a 500 card order at some point posted. Yeah. I mean, he was grading some wild stuff with SGC. If he can get a good price with PSA, he's going to be grading some wild stuff with PSA too. Like, it's too many cards. It's too many cards. You said Beckett was right around what 400,000 ish cards.
Yeah, 361,000 actually.
Go back in time 20 years and say to Beckett, you're going to be grading 360,000 cards. Over
Yeah,
the course
baby.
of how long, Mike? Over the course of a year,
6 months.
half year,
Six
First
months,
6 months,
yes.
yeah, first half of the year.
months. You're going to be grading 60,000 cards a month. They would be like, holy shit, we must run the world. Like, it's unbelievable that they're the down company and everyone shits on them. Oh, they're terrible. No one sends their cards to Beckett. Yes, they do. 360,000 of them, in fact, 60,000 a month. And that's the low company by a lot. We are grading too much. Stop. Everyone stop. It's ridiculous. Don't grade for your
They're
PC.
not going to stop.
They're not going to stop.
It's going to get worse. It's going to get more. There's going to be more.
Because that's how people are trained.
Right. That's where the hobby is right now. I added them up as you were reading them off, Mike. It's like 9 million cards. So the population of slabbed cards increased by 9 million in the first 6
in
months
half a year.
So in theory, it can increase by almost 20 million, by 18 million, and you wouldn't be surprised if those numbers keep going up. So it gets to like 20 million in a year. That's insane to think about. Like you think about the numbers of cards that are out there, but then also now the number that are slabbed, like that is just it's mind-boggling to think that number. And then obviously, like we just said, those numbers aren't going down; they're going to keep going up. Like, that's just where the hobby is right now. People open up, especially new product, they're going to be like, I got to send this off and get it graded. If they get a good card, got to send it off and get it graded. And a lot of them don't, we've talked about it a bazillion times. They don't even look to see if it should be graded. They just know that it's a high expensive card.
Yeah,
they
just send it in.
Yep, send it pack fresh. It's got to be a 10.
And then they get pissed off when it comes back at 7 because they didn't actually look at the card.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. They also broke down by type of card graded. So Pokemon cards were the most at 3.9 million were graded. Baseball cards, there were 2.1 million cards graded. Football, 1.3 million. Basketball, 1.3. And then non-sports was 252,000. Like Pokemon especially, I know there's a lot of Pokemon cards, but there are nowhere near as many Pokemon cards as there are all the other sports put together. But all these things are being slabbed. Who's playing the game? How do you play the game?
How often do I say with grading sports cards? Okay, whatever, I get it. With Pokemon, you lose the utility of the actual card. Like, so if you collect Pokemon cards, just admit you don't play Pokemon. You don't care about the actual game. That's fine. That's fine. Just you're collecting Pokemon cards. You're not playing Pokemon. You are collecting them because the card has zero utility when you slap it. It's like, again, if you buy a comic book at the comic book store, the local comic book shop, and just send it right to CGC, it's the same thing. It loses all utility you can have. One real quick thing before I forget it and have an EP moment. We were talking about Seinfeld at the top of the show, right? Like there was an episode where they would talk about, oh, what did you talk about on your date or whatever? And Jerry goes, oh yeah, we mentioned the rainforest. Remember when the rainforest was this thing that everyone was like, oh man, if we lose the rainforest, the environment's going to go down. 9 million slabs in 6 months is a lot of plastic. It takes oil to make plastic. Like this, 20 years from now, we're going to be like, man, remember before the apocalypse? And we could actually like breathe air. Like, holy crap. That I make a joke about it all the time, but man, now I'm starting to think maybe it's not a joke. This is a lot of plastic being produced for pieces of cardboard. It's crazy. It's
a lot, but I mean, it's nothing compared to shampoo containers and deodorant containers, man. Like plastic's a really big problem.
So your pushback is, we can't do anything about it anyway because of shampoo containers.
That's
really?
not.
That's fine. You hate the environment.
It's not as bad. It's not. I'm saying it's not. I mean,
makes sense. He works for newspaper, folks. That makes sense.
What is that?
Yeah, mean? Chopping down all those trees.
Down all those trees from the Amazon.
That's why the rainforest was in the shape it was to begin with.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We can grow more trees. We can't make more oil.
Oh, okay. Since I like to play games with you guys, the top 5 individual players graded at PSA in the first half of the year.
I'm really good at these.
I know.
EP, do you want to say her name? Say her name.
Well, I mean, that's not she wouldn't be in the first 6 months. It would be Victor Wembanyama.
Got number 1.
CJ Stroud.
You got number 4.
Ken Griffey Jr.
No.
6 months of the year. Ooh. Oh, Connor Bedard?
No.
No.
Gunnar
Caitlin
Henderson?
Clark. Caitlin Clark. I'm just gonna say it for EP.
No.
She's not. There's not enough cars to be in the top.
I
5.
made that argument the last time we played this game. You son of a bitch. And you're like, no.
Griffey's surprising that he's on there.
Jordan.
Michael Jordan is number 3. So you have 3 of the 5. Who's number 2? Baseball player.
Baseball.
Mickey Mantle.
Come on, EP.
There are a lot of newer mantles. I didn't.
Who's the big rookie? I don't. Adley
Who's
Rutschman?
the big baseball player?
Oh, Shohei
period?
Ohtani. Jesus.
Hello.
What are we doing? What are we even doing?
Aren't you like a co-host of a podcast that speaks exclusively about Shohei Ohtani and
No, we
fishing?
shifted to fishing.
You
We
should
do fishing. We do fishing now.
It's strictly fishing. Okay.
Fishing with Shohei. That's the new
Fishing
name
with
of it, yeah.
Shohei.
And number 5 is a football player.
Barry Sanders.
Patrick Mahomes.
Current. No. Rookie.
Rookie.
Was a rookie.
Was a rookie. Oh, Anthony Richardson.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you got all 5.
I did my
Maybe-
part.
I mean, the game is the same every time we play it. But it's so
I got-
entertaining to me.
I got
I
number
don't know
1.
if anybody cares, but I just love watching EP throw names out. And then
Cal
not
Ripken
be able
Jr.
to- Oh, all right. Well, I figured we could wrap things up. Since both of you guys, I'm assuming, were probably invited to this, wanted to talk a little bit about Michael Rubin's big white party that he had on July 4th at his home in the Hamptons. EP, what can you tell us about what went on there? I figure you were one of the lucky 400 people that got the invitation. Do you have your white Michael, your Air Force One Jordans or whatever it was he sent out to people that RSVP'd? You know?
Before you started, I asked what's a white party. I have no idea what this is.
I had to explain it legitimately. We had to explain it before the pod even started. It was that
Kim
please,
Kardashian.
Please cut that portion out. Do not put the first 10 minutes of the recording onto YouTube.
Kim Kardashian was there, Drake, Tom Brady, and a host of other people. They even had a beach football game the night before with one team quarterbacked by Tom Brady and the other by CJ Stroud. Oh, I know who won. It wasn't Tom Brady. It was the young guy. Yeah. Take that, Tom. But it's Tom Brady.
Take that,
like
50-year-old man.
Did Michael Rubin adopt Tom Brady or something? He seems to be with him all the time. But we like to joke about this. But these things are, to people like us, these things are ridiculous. But this guy, keep in mind, is the guy that's in charge of the hobby that we're talking about right now. So, yeah, I don't even know.
I got a few things to say.
Please go ahead, Joe.
I'll tell you what, you saying Michael Rubin white party, the Hamptons, was maybe the whitest thing I've ever heard in my life. Rich white people thing I've ever heard in my life. This is great. Like mind blowing. The tin ear that some people have that they just do shit like this and advertise, hey, look how rich I am. Don't you wish you were this rich that you got an invite like EP to this white party? Like it's so over the top. I mean, I get it. If we were rich, we would probably do ridiculously dumb things too, or ridiculously over the top things too. But man, it just feels like an in your face thing to a lot of people. That being said, we joke around a lot, mostly at EP's expense, about the cost of Topps and Fanatics products. This is what it's paying for, EP. This is what it's paying for. And those products are not going to get lower in price because he's not going to not have a white party at the Hamptons every 4th of July. I'm just saying.
Just going to get bigger and bigger.
It's going to get bigger and bigger.
They really better start including those free puppies. That's all I can say.
It really better.
So where did this story come from, Mike? Where did you see this? Like, was this like something where they get quotes and stuff? Like, was it
Oh,
like a?
this is all over. Like real news sources are picking this up and everything. I saw an article on Forbes and like if you type in Michael Rubin White Party, it's just all kind of mainstream media. Because
I think he mentioned a previous white party he had where he was hanging out with Bob Kraft and Tom Brady on the Bill Simmons podcast.
Bob Kraft was there too.
Speaking of him adopting Brady, I think Kraft adopted Rubin because he's always there too. Though I think Kraft's current wife is younger than both of Rubin and Brady. But this to me is a very much let them eat cake situation. You know, doesn't it feel that way? Like I'm super rich and I'm going to throw it in your face and we're going to, you know, it is a let them eat cake.
I think the real question is, I think the question everybody's asking is, when are we going to get the memorabilia from the white party clothing patches and the cuttable stuff put into cards. Yeah, I can put them in cards. Yeah, when is it going to show up in the next set?
I don't know if you're allowed though, because like he had specific rules about the Jordans that he gave away to people at RSVP that they weren't allowed to sell them, and like he said, I know who you are. So like,
Jesus,
maybe they're not going to let us have them in cards. I feel like they should come out with a white party line of cards. That should be their high-end product. National Treasures, we don't need that. We don't need Flawless. We're going to have white party. And we're going to have all this stuff in it. Like, why not have everybody there sign some stuff? You could sell those packs for like $10,000 each.
Can you use sand from the beach
football game? Sand from the hamster.
Put it right in the card.
Oh wow.
There's lots of possibilities. Fanatics, call us.
Call us.
One of the consistent comments I saw on videos, and I'm going to tie this in. One of the consistent comments I saw on videos when I was looking for other Wolverine content was, oh my God, $230 a box. That's crazy. And I kept replying to them, have you never looked at sports cards and the cost of sports cards? Like, yeah, Michael Rubin doesn't own Upper Deck. Like, Fanatics is going to be very, very expensive. And I know we're kind of making fun of this white party thing because it is ridiculous, but like, it's a microcosm of, you know, the largesse of some folks that are out there and what they're doing with their money and how they're going to get their money. And they're going to get their money off of the backs of us buying the products. I mean, that's just kind of how the world goes round and round, right?
I feel like after this podcast, we have no chance of getting an insert in Topps Big League now. Way to go, Joe. I know I've always heard you punch up, which you're clearly doing here. But
yes. I'm punching so far up I'm hitting the ceiling, man. I mean, he is a stratosphere away from us.
Yeah. I'm definitely selling my Jordans then. Definitely selling my Jordans like that.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, I saw this idea on another podcast. They were talking about not knowing how many people watched or listened to the end of the podcast, and they wanted to come up with a word for people to comment to see if they're watching at the end. So I decided that the word this week is pancake. So if you're still watching this video, comment pancake. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everybody that comments pancake, and I'm going to pick one of you for this.
Unless you're from Canada.
Unless you're from Canada. If you're in the United States, we cannot afford. We would be gone. Yeah. We wouldn't be able to pay the bills here.
Like $500
so if you're in the US and you comment pancake, I'm going to send you out a little mystery pack here. Not a PSA.
Are we eligible?
No PSA. I don't care. Go ahead.
So, you could save on shipping. You could just give it to us when we're on the way to the National.
I could. That's a great idea. That might be incentive to fix it to make sure you win.
Pancake. Now I'm hungry for pancakes. Damn it.
Me too. Should have thought that one through. Yeah. All right, guys. That was a good chat this week, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
Adios.